Peter's Box. Life is for the living.
Hello. What do atheists believe in? When my religious friends find out that I'm an atheist, that I do not believe in God or goddesses or deities, they almost always ask me one question. What do atheists believe in? If you have ever wondered what atheists believe in, I would attempt to answer this question for you. They are going to be in two folds. I would attempt to answer this question as an atheist myself, and secondly, as a lover of philosophy. So the first question, as an atheist, what do atheists believe in? The answer is, I don't know. That is a very modest answer because not all atheists believe the same things. And the second answer I'm going to give is going to explain why atheists don't believe the same thing. Now, atheism is a reaction to theism. Atheism is the opposite of theism, which is the belief in the concept of God and the supernatural. That is theism. There are many forms of theism like pantheism, polytheism, monotheism, deism, and what have you. But the underlying principle is a belief in God or the supernatural. Atheism, however, is the lack of these things, is the lack of belief in the supernatural or goddesses or gods. Therefore, atheism is the absence of a belief in God. Let me repeat that. Atheism is the absence of belief in God, or it is the lack of belief in gods. Now, if you pay attention to that, what it means is that atheism is not an active belief. It is only a response to theism, which means if there was no theism, there will be no atheism. Let me use this analogy to explain. Let's take for a moment that belief in God is represented by a profession. Let's take medicine, for example. If you practice medicine, we can call you a doctor. What would be the word for someone who is not a doctor? It cannot be a teacher because a teacher is a more specific term. It cannot be a lawyer because a lawyer is a more specific term. So if you're not a doctor, then what are you? Well, for convenience sake, let's say anyone who doesn't practice medicine is a non-doctor. It's a very convenient label. We can easily understand when I say someone is a non-doctor. It simply means that the person is not a doctor. It is in reference to the profession of being a doctor. The same applies to atheism. Atheism is only a useful label to represent those who do not believe in God. It is not an active belief. It doesn't portray or make any claims. It simply says that I am not this. It doesn't tell you what the person believes. And therefore, the question, what do atheists believe, to some extent is a problematic question because it's not a specific question. It is a general question that usually most religious people use because they believe somehow that the subtext of the question should point out some kind of belief atheists have in the supernatural. But by definition, an atheist is a person who does not believe. It's like saying, what kind of meat does a vegetarian eat? That's a very silly question to ask a vegetarian because vegetarians don't eat meat, and therefore you should ask what kind of meat vegetarians eat. Then you probably don't understand what the vegetarian is all about. The same applies to atheism. Atheism is not an active belief. It is the lack of one. And therefore, you cannot have atheists make claims about God because they do not believe in one. So, what questions should you ask an atheist? It's better to ask specific questions. For example, you don't believe in God, right? So, who do you think created the world? That's a more helpful question that can assist an atheist to give you a better answer. And mind you, not all atheists would answer the same for the questions that you ask. Why? Because atheism is not a belief system, it's the lack of one, and therefore anything or any answer can fill that gap. Therefore, the answer this atheist might give you might vary from what this atheist might give you. And there you have it. Atheists, I don't know what they believe. Go and ask them. I don't know what an atheist thinks about this unless I ask, because it is not a belief system. It's not a universal belief system that has a holy book, it has precepts and teachings. It's simply the absence of theism. I hope this helps.
Peter's Box. Life is for the living.